Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents G.I. Joe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 115, Airborne. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top we have G.I. Joe Star, a hook, number 115, a little sliver of a window here to let some light in from the top. On the front, 4 and up, assortment number, warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Nice big window showcasing the figure and his accessories. A nice little bit of artwork right there of Airborne all geared up. The G.I. Joe Star, G.I. Joe Classified Series, G.I. Joe Franklin Airborne Tall Tree Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, main China print, symbols I'm not gonna learn, and a barcode. Then on this side, we have some nice artwork of Airborne all geared up. G.I. Joe Classified Series number 115. On this side, we have the G.I. Joe Star, a little portion of that same artwork. He's number 115. Here is the QR code. You can scan it if you want to. It should take you to, explaining about his skill set or whatever, but it only takes you probably to shop.hasbro.com. And speaking of the skill set, here are the 4 symbols for his skill set. You can look those up at gijoe.com, and then G.I. Joe Star, G.I. Joe Classified Series number 115, the G.I. Joe Star over here. Nice practical photography of Airborne in action. And then some digital renders of close-ups of some of the features of the figure. The symbols for his skill set again. G.I. Joe Franklin Airborne Tall Tree includes figure and 10 pieces. Not accessories, but pieces. And parents, GIJoe.com. Attention! Especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that don't belong there. Don't give it to babies, and Hasbro print. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers. And we'll start off right here. And here we have a nice little submachine gun looking primary weapon, and it is very bendy plastic, so just as a note, if you collect classified, you know how these things go, and the weapons are usually real soft and rubbery, and that is the case with this one. It does have nice molded details. It's all molded in one color that is not quite black. Maybe it's a very, very dark gray. And the magazine is removable, and it goes back in there. And I want to say we've seen this with a figure before, but I cannot remember who it was. So there is that. Here we have his night vision goggles. Nice molded details. Got a little bit of a paint app there on the end. And it's got a square post on it right here, and I'll show you how that works here in just a minute when we take a look at the helmet, which I want to say, yeah, I don't think we've seen this exact helmet before. It's very similar to Grunt's helmet, but Grunt's does not have these earmuff pieces or headphone pieces, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they probably are, all those wires and stuff. They're headphone pieces. So, all molded in a single color. which I'm guessing is this color, and then these straps look like they have a little bit of a paint app on them. Nice molded details. And you see it's got a big square port right here at the top of the helmet, and that is for these night vision goggles. And you can do them, you can port them in one of two ways. So when he's not using them, you can port them in like this, and then you just flip them over for when he is actively using the night vision. And it does go in there pretty good, even though they're both very soft plastic. All the accessories are very soft plastic. So, moving right along. Here we have his sidearm. Let me get the tweezers back out. Nice molded details, again molded in that one colored plastic, like maybe a dark gray. And then before we put that up, here is the suppressor. So that's very nice, and it does have a port in both ends, so you can put a muzzle flash on it if you wanted to, but it's a suppressor, so you really shouldn't be putting muzzle flashes on it, I don't think. But I could be wrong. Suppressor may just suppress the noise and not the blast. What do I know? I am not a weapons expert. I'm just making guesses at it. Some weapons I do recognize though, from watching all those 80s movies. Here is his knife, and he's got two goggles right here. Here is the one that when he's actively using the goggles, you put this around his eyes. And then this one is for napping. No, I'm just kidding. This is the one that goes around his helmet when he's not actively using these pieces. And you can see it's got a wrap on it. So it's cool that you have that option. Then the last accessory is this, and it's Duke's backpack, all the way back from that Wave 1 Duke, and then more recently the Retro Duke. And I'm going to guess that it's molded in this colored plastic, and then this black is a paint app. And that looks to be about it. And then of course it's got a post on here. Nice molded details throughout. I mean, this backpack has always looked nice. Well, let's take a look at the figure himself, and I think they did a really good job there on the head sculpt and the printing for the eyes and the rest of the face. And then the hair, nice textured detail in there. On his overlay here, got a nice little American flag tampo. Got his sheath, got a little pouch here for something. Grenades. And then you can see it goes up under the shoulders of the vest and around the back. It's got a nice tampo right here on his upper shoulder. And then nothing on this side. Nice paint apps here for the elbow pads and the knee pads. And it seems like everything else is more than likely printed in the correct color plastic. Oh, I missed that little silver paint app right here for this buckle or clasp. Carbiner maybe. Not exactly sure. So overall, I think a pretty nice looking figure. Even the pants have a little bit of texture to them as well. So very detailed, like the majority of Classified Series is. Let's take a quick look at his articulation. He looks up that high, and he's probably on a dumbbell at the top of the neck and a ball at the bottom of the neck. He's got chicken neck. He's got waggle. He can do the full exorcist, but the neck does want to turn with it, so just be aware of that. Butterfly. Is it butterfly? Yeah, there's some butterfly here at the shoulder. Goes back that far, forward that far, so not a wide range of motion there. Can raise his arm well past 90 degrees, 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder as well. Cut here at the upper bicep gives you another 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow gives you that much bend, 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist, and it is on. Is it on a up and down? No, it's on an in and out hinge here, and then up and down hinge here. Although you don't get much movement out of the up and down because of the short cuff here. I'm not sure exactly what he's got going on under this overlay. I'm guessing that it's a standard ab hinge, but I could be wrong. But it doesn't matter because you can't really get anything out of it with this overlay on it. He does have a cut at the waist. It's a ball joint, so it allows him to hula with whatever's under the thing, under the vest and the ball joint. He can lean back that far. And this, you know, this overlay piece does hinder a lot of his mobility. He can lean forward that far. He can twist left and right a little bit, but because of these straps, it really hinders his range of movement. But I'm pretty sure it will do a full 360 degrees of rotation. Pull down hinge at the hips. He can give you the full splits. He can kick forward only that far, and a lot of that is, again, this strap here is hindering his movement. So, and then back about a step at the upper thigh, there is a cut, and it will give you a full 360 degrees of rotation. And again, these straps get in the way. Double hinged pinless knee. It gives you that much bend. And then nothing in, you know, no boot cut up here. But where this foot plugs in, it does twist 360 degrees there. So I guess that's a boot cut. Tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and then he does have forward facing pin for rocker. Now, as far as storage of everything, some things do, you know, they do have to get left out. Now, as far as his sidearm and the silencer goes, or suppressor, let me pull that off before I break it. Trying to be all cool and stuff. So the suppressor fits in that loop on the front of the holster, and then the sidearm just fits right down in the holster. Now, the way I like to do it, I like to put the goggles on him. It does help make the helmet fit a little better than without the goggles. So put the goggles on him. Oh wait, here's his knife. Fits right into his sheath there. Then the backpack just ports in right there. The pig goes in that port in his back. Big surprise, right? And then just pop the helmet on his head and try to straighten it up. So we'll go ahead and flip that around. So with the night vision goggles on there, you can't, or eyepiece, it's not really goggles, is it? You can't fit these goggles on the helmet with that on there very well. So that's the piece that gets left out. And oops, there he goes, falling down, dropping his backpack. And then as far as his primary weapon goes, he just has to hold it in his hand. There's no storage for that. So there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories storage, or lack thereof. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Duke and the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Lady J. Here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne with the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Trooper with Swarm Gear and the Valaverse Action Force Scarab. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. Our final G.I. Joe Classified Series comparison, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne, I have to say, I think Airborne's been a long time coming. He was always a popular character. At least I've always thought of him as a popular character. And it just seems like it took him a long time to get around to him. But in a way, I'm glad that it did, because he has the more classic styling now. And, he just has the more classic look to him. And, I do prefer that myself. Your mileage, of course, may vary. As far as the decos go on this guy, I think the decos are done really well. I like the, little paint apps on the end of the night vision apparatus. I like the knee pads and the elbow pads. I like the paints on the overlay. And the goggles look really, really good. And as far as the sculpt goes, I think it looks really good. I think they did a good job on the head sculpt. I think the helmet looks nice. It was a nice touch that you could, use night vision goggles or night vision visor apparatus on it, and that you could use it, turn it one way and it goes up, turn it the other way and it's down in the active position. So I do like that. The fact that at this point they're still using really, really soft plastic sucks. I don't prefer it for the accessories, especially for the weapons. I think that's a bad move, Hasbro, because I know you're watching. And you really need to fix that. And I know that they have said on live streams before they're moving towards that, but how long does it take, by the time the line's over, before we get, weapons that don't just bend coming out the package. As far as his articulation goes, I'm sure, what I can get to is fine. And I'm sure what he's got under that overlay is fine, but it's inaccessible and virtually useless with that overlay. And I understand, you know, that they have to do it that way, but, you know, it just sucks that it hinders his articulation bad. And especially those straps going down to the legs, you know, they're a real hindrance for the leg articulation as well. And overall, it hurts the articulation. It looks great, but hurts the articulation. So I don't know if maybe that is the balance between the two. I'm not sure, but it is what it is. It's nice to see Duke's backpack show up again as well, because, you know, the big shovel on it, it makes sense for Airborne to have that, even though it's not removable. At some point in the future, I would like to see them do, you know, with a removable shovel. That would be kind of cool. So overall, I have to say, you know, I like this version of Airborne, but it does have some issues with articulation and soft plastic used in the accessories, and which, you know, that plagues the entire line, and I may not always mention it, but just getting his gun in both of his hands bends it up. So that's an issue for me. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more content, or just help the channel out, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.